Testes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right. I think we're live. Let me go to my channel just to verify 100% ironclad that we are live. And we are live. Very good. Wait for a couple people to get in here, and then we will kind of discuss some stuff that's going on. Kind of disturbing. What's up, Big Chief? Nice to have you in here, buddy. I do have a link if anybody wants to join, but it's going to be a deeper discussion than at first glance. I'm going to show you guys a video that Twila Luna sent me. Buzz, welcome. Nice to have you here, buddy. Mr. Busby, long time, man. Haven't seen you in a bit. Ellie, nice to have you here as well. Got a video. But I think it's going to spark a deeper discussion. That's why I decided to do a nifty little panel. And like I said, the link is pinned if anybody wants to join. I'll wait for a couple more people to get in, and then we'll show you the video that I got for you. And then we'll have a deeper discussion. Basically, let me kind of set it up. Hold on. Before we do that, let's just get all my ducks in a row here. I thought I had all my ducks in a row. Just waiting for a couple more people to join on in, and then we will be good to go. Let me go ahead and start with that intro music. I think I'll do a little bit of hot chocolate intro today. Why not? I don't know why my sounds weren't queued up here, but let's get those guys going, and let's hit you guys with the intro, and then we'll discuss. All right, welcome everybody to the MLH channel. I, of course, am MLH, in case you've forgotten. Chris, welcome. Nice to have you here. Ellie, Buzz, Mr. Busby, and Big Chiefs in the house. A plethora of great people are in the chat, and Jesse Sepulveda as well. Welcome, everybody. This is kind of like an off-the-cuff kind of thing. I got an email from Twila Luna, who sent me a video, and it's a concerning video, but I think it's going to spark a different, bigger discussion. But I'm going to set it up here. Let me get the email up. I don't want to pull the email and any emails up on screen. I'm not going to, expose anybody's email address or anything like that. But so she sent me a video, which I will show you guys in a minute. And it's basically a video of her husband walking their dog and getting attacked by another dog. All right. And the video is fairly shocking. She titles the email "Four-Legged Heat-Seeking Missile, CPD Not Helping." This is in the Chicago area, so keep that in mind. This is a video of my husband and my dog getting attacked by a pit bull. They're both healed. Meaning, they got bit and they're okay now. Chicago Animal Control is on a shoestring budget and has told my husband they are under orders from the mayor, Brandon Johnson, not to seize animals anymore because it's like stealing. There's so much to unpack here, guys. Like I said, this is going to be a bigger discussion at hand here, because this involves everything. All right. So she goes on. The Chicago Police Department says it's not their jurisdiction. This dog has attacked 3 other dogs that we know of. It has 2, quote, bite cards filed on it. CPD tells bite victims they don't do those reports anymore, so bite victims have to figure out how to get bites reported. The first attack opened up the dog's abdomen, resulting in over $10,000 in vet bills and the bit owner too. We've been to the 17th precinct 2 times. We've been to Alderman Nugent's office and talked to her staff for a long time weeks ago, but we still haven't heard back from them. We went to last month's CAPS meeting. We explained the situation in detail, showed them the video. My husband called the sergeant, but we haven't heard anything since. We have a four-legged heat-seeking missile in our neighborhood that our officials don't seem to be doing anything about. And then it goes on how she asked Windy City to help out and pass the email to Joe Cool, but I haven't heard anything from Joe. Joe's a busy man, Twila, so I don't know. I mean, maybe Wendy did it, maybe he didn't. I don't really know, but this situation is snafu. The attack happened in front of a nursing home across from a park, 3 blocks from an elementary school, and on the other side of the block from another nursing home. We need this dog removed. If you look carefully, you can see the owner punching their dog. The dog is living under a nearby bridge with its owners. Any suggestions? Can you bring attention to the situation? Or do you know of someone who could be interested? Well, I'm definitely interested. And then she says, I'm worried about how many more vicious dogs in Chicago that the city is aware of, but not doing anything about them. First of all, thanks, Twyla, for sending me the video. I do appreciate that you came to me because, I mean, obviously the city of Chicago isn't doing much. Mom's Wholesome, welcome. Nice to have you here. What about calling animal control? Well, animal control just basically told her that their hands are tied and they can't seize dogs anymore. So let me show you guys the video first. Let me present that to you. You guys can see. I mean, it happens real quick, so we don't have to. We'll show maybe a couple minutes of the video, and then there's a bigger discussion to have here. And it's it's a disturbing discussion about everything. It's a discussion about government. It's a discussion about just all kinds of things that we'll get into here. If you want to join the conversation, please hit the link and you can join. Here's the video. Now, notice at the very bottom, this is her husband with their dog. And you're going to see something. If you don't want to see something disturbing, I mean, there's no blood or anything that I can see from the video, but just a fair warning. This is could be produced PTSD for people that have been attacked by dogs. I'll tell you guys my dog attack story after I get done with this, but let's take a look at this pit bull attack at a homeless encampment in Gompers Park in Chicago. So the video is 6 minutes long. I don't think we're going to show all of that, but here we go. Here's the video. And there's no sound, so I mean, I guess I can provide a little bit of commentary while we go through it. But there's the dog. Look at that. Holy shit. And it just knocks her husband down, attacks her dog on the left. It's kind of hard to see there, but holy shit. Now here's the interesting. Let me pause this video. So there's Twyla's dog, right? On the sidewalk. Her husband is dealing with this. I'm assuming it's a pit bull. They usually, I mean, anytime you see these type of videos or a pit bull mix, which is unfortunate because the breed itself is not a bad breed. But let's continue on here. There's some people over here. Her dog is like concerned for the owner. The Twyla's husband is doing the best that he can to control the entire situation. But this is pretty scary. What happens coming up here? Their dog just goes right into the middle of the street. Oh my God, doggy, get back in. Doesn't get hit. So, I mean, this is crazy, right? Hold on. The video pauses for a bit there. So it's just mass confusion, right? You got a dog that's really scared that just got attacked. You got some dude holding this pit bull, I'm assuming. And then, of course, the Twyla's husband going over to gather his dog. Wow. And then supposedly in this video, the owner, I don't know if that's the owner that's holding the pit bull right now. But this dog has a history of biting. and is a fairly dangerous situation in Chicago. But it's going to lead to a broader discussion, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I think we got enough of the video. To you guys saw the attack, what happened out of nowhere. Then this guy comes and grabs the dog, puts it on a leash. Thankfully, I mean, it should have happened from the beginning. That dog should never not be on a leash. It needs some training. I don't think dogs that bite are necessarily bad. They just have had bad upbringings, and they can be broken from that too. But really crazy stuff. Let me pause that video, get this up off of the screen here. Bluto, welcome. Nice to have you here. Chicago has trouble protecting its two-legged citizens. The four-legged ones are out of luck, 100%. Jesse says, safety. Cinderelli, welcome. As a bully owner, this sounds like an irresponsible owner. For 40 years, I've never been out of control ever. Yeah, Cinderelli, I love the bully breeds. If I had a choice, I would have one. But there are some ordinances here that prevent me from doing so. But I love the breed. I don't blame the breed. Why the fuck are the owners acting like it's just another day? Well, see, here's where some of the discussion comes in. All right, it was from a homeless encampment. The owner of that dog is a homeless person, so it's a really tough one. This one's tough, but it's tough in a lot of ways. Um, okay, so there's a broader discussion to be had here. All hell is breaking loose. I can show you guys a video. Actually, let me go ahead and show you guys that video as well, and it gets to a broader discussion. And it gets deep. I'm going to tell you guys. Hold on. Let me get back to my emails. And Adam Hammer sent me another TikTok here. Let me copy the link address and put that into. And this one's scary. And I have no idea what's going on here, but this is in Denver. But let me return. Let me hit pause on this video and then pull it back up. And I think I titled the video something like "All Hell's Breaking Loose." Is all hell breaking loose? Or that's what you see in the thumbnail. Is all hell breaking loose, right? And I would say that it's starting to break loose. Hell is definitely starting to break loose, y'all. And let me pull up this video. This is a crazy video too. And you're gonna say, what does this have to do with this? But I will tie them together. All right, hold on. And this is a broader discussion than dogs. I'm going to tell you guys right now. This is a deeper discussion. So let's go to this video and we'll take a peek. This is happening right in my neck of the woods here. It's actually a little south of where I'm at, but let's see. Is that up? Yes. Okay. So here's a video from TikTok that Adam Hammer sent me. So I want to give him credit. This is Kelsey Oski's account, but let's listen in.
Armored vehicles on the other, been checking people's cars all day.
Did you catch that? They're checking people's cars.
This is awesome. I love this. I love all this.
Okay, there's some things to be gleaned from this TikTok. First of all, that was pretty disturbing of that person to say this is awesome. This is awesome that they're checking cars and they're in military gear and all this. So here's how I'm going to tie this all in. Okay. So the title of the video is all hell breaking loose, right? It got me thinking about the whole system, right? Uh, what is animals control's job then? Just to make sure they have biters, owner has gotten their dog vaccines. I don't really know anymore in Chicago. Cinderelli, the budgets are being cut wholesale. And this definitely has to do with the Trump administration. I don't usually get into politics. I'm neither a Republican nor a Democrat. I think they're both wings of the same bird. If any of you are affiliated with any party and I offend you, then I don't know what to say. It is what it is. But I'm going to speak directly. about some stuff that's going on. Oh, there's Twyla. Right on. Nice to have you in here, Twyla. This we're discussing a. I think this is a broader discussion, Twyla, and that's why I'm doing this. Not only to bring some attention to what's going on in Chicago, but the greater U.S. You know what I mean? Animal control says they can help vets and medical bills reimbursed from the dog owner's homeowners insurance. They are unhoused. Yeah, that see that's the thing, and I am sorry that that happened to you, Twyla. I saw the video. It's horrific, and I hope the mental scars more than anything heal from your husband and the dog too. I mean, it's got to be traumatic for your dog to now even take a walk. A walk, it's crazy. But Twyla, Ellie put in a link there. Maybe that can help you out. But I think this is a broader discussion. Uh, Twyla mentioned the budget concerns, right? And this has to do with the Trump administration. The Trump administration has handcuffed a plethora of agencies, whether it's the FBI, the CIA. They just asked every single CIA agent to take a buyout, and this is concerning. We talk about national security on this channel. We talk about policing. We talk about a bunch of stuff. But notice the one thing that they won't take the budget away from is the police. And this is crazy. This is really crazy. So they're okay, but the dog will bite again. I know it's super unfortunate. And I told you, Twyla, in the email reply, I know you got it. That I think, I mean, the solution is just to carry around like a gel mace. Make sure it's gel mace so it sticks. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, if the city is not willing to help you, then you kind of have to help yourself. It's crazy. It's craziness. Um, but I think the concerns are valid. The budgetary concerns. When you have somebody like Elon Musk, who basically has his hands in every payment system that we got here and is making suggestions to the government, even though he's not part of a government. By the way, Elon Musk is a fucking immigrant. So that second video that I showed you of what I presume is ICE and other government agencies trying to get rid of immigrants here is definitely scary. And to see that happen, to see stuff like that go unchecked, like dogs biting other people and dogs and shit like that is just fucking crazy. It's just insane. Uh, just getting a text here. Okay. The link is pinned. If you guys want to come up, feel free to click that link. We're having a broader discussion on the role of government here, and I do think that's an important part of our government is animal control. I know it doesn't get a lot of consideration on a lot of channels, other than to see dogs get shot by dogs indiscriminately and stuff like that. But I do think that it's super important to talk about. And it does have to do with money, unfortunately. It does have to do with, budgetary concerns and what's more important, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, most of us are animal lovers. I am a huge animal lover. I love dogs. I love cats. I love, I mean, I on the channel, I think I still have it on the channel where I saved a frog from playing real life Frogger. you know so you can add an animal rescue to my list of hats that I do on this channel, my list of things. But I'm also a reporter, and this is I'm glad Twyla sent that to me. I wish it would have been under better circumstances and there was a happy ending and all of this type of stuff, but unfortunately that's what we're left with. We're left with uh a just a vision of a vicious attack, and it could have been prevented. But budgetary concerns, I think, are of utmost priority here. Now, we got a lot of problems in that video. You got homeless people that are living in a park, which, by the way, that's another part of the channel that I hold near and dear to my heart, is the fact that the most vulnerable of us are still living in conditions that are just horrific. I mean, the winters in Chicago have to be pretty brutal. I know here in Denver, I mean, it's been in the negatives lately, although today was really beautiful outside and the nights have been a little bit more mild. But um, there's a lot to discuss here. I mean, there's also, you know, where do we place the blame on all of this? That's a bigger question that I don't think we're going to solve right now. But instead of bolstering some of these programs, for homeless people or animal control or animal shelters or human shelters for that matter. Fuzzy says dogs are greater than humans. I don't know. Fuzzy, I have an optimistic view of the world. I think people in general are good. And I don't, I don't, what is going on here? This stupid thing. Get out of here. I don't want you. All right. I guess it's not going to let me do what I want to do. What's up, Carrie Ann? Nice to have you here. We're discussing a video I just showed of a dog attack in the greater Chicago area. And, there's a bigger discussion to be had regarding budgetary concerns. The animal control there, I guess, is under budget constraints and is no longer seizing dogs or doing much of anything really to help the citizens of Chicago. So I guess if you're not going to do what your organization, your government entity was supposed to do, then what is the point? In that respect, I think I can agree with Elon Musk. That's wasteful money. They won't seize dogs anymore because of orders. Brandon Johnson's office, that's the mayor, who's far left. He's no saint. No, I understand that, and I don't think it's a right or left thing, Twyla. I think it's a budgetary thing. If you don't have the budget to do stuff, then well, then you don't have the budget. But I mean, to keep an office open, I mean that's pretty wasteful, right? But it does serve a purpose, and it should be subsidized, by the government. I mean, we pay taxes for a reason. Have you guys noticed your roads aren't getting fixed? I mean, our infrastructure is pretty crazy too, right? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on uh, that isn't getting fixed. Infrastructure was the big one, even dating before Trump got into office. Then when Biden got into office, and now Trump again. I mean, it's a vicious cycle. I always said, like, if the government doesn't want to help its people, what is the point of the government, right? It's gotten to a point where, and this is something where I actually agree with Republicans on. The size of the government is just way too big. Um, Blue Unicorn's here. What's up, Blue Unicorn? Nice to have you here. We're discussing a dog attack and a bigger, broader discussion on budgetary concerns within government. I mean, I think we're seeing in real time the collapse, right? And that's why I'm like, is all hell breaking loose because of things like this? After 3 bites, the owner should have to rehome the dog to an animal rescue shelter to see if it can be retrained and saved. 100%, Ellie. I'm not of the belief that a dog is inherently bad either. A big, broad, attacked dog. No. Sasquatch, welcome. Nice to have you here. I do have a link pinned up there. If you want your words to be spoken on this stream, feel free to click that link. Um, it is a broader spectrum issue, Twyla. I was thinking about this video, and of course, I'm going to help whoever emails me out the best way that I can. I there's really nothing I can do. I'm not there. I can't advocate. I can't really do too much. But what I can do is bring a little bit more attention onto what's going on in the broader area, and it definitely leads to bigger and better um, discussions and hopefully productive discussions. Um, no question, the dog should be retrained, Ellie. I do believe that even the most vicious of dogs are vicious for a reason and can be retrained, reprogrammed, if you will. I wish people were like that. I don't think we place enough enough emphasis on helping people retrain and reprogram their own brains, rehab and stuff like that. It's unfortunate that the owners are unhoused. However, that doesn't give them the right to put others' safety at risk. 100%, Ellie. And it doesn't look like the police department is doing anything either. So here's another discussion point, right? Defund the police. What do you guys feel about that? Because I have a very, I mean, through my deep understanding of the way that the police works, I definitely have an opinion on that, and my opinion sides with the people that believe that the police should be defunded. I'm not saying we should have lawlessness and no police whatsoever, but I think if you look at, for instance, I'll give you Aurora. All right, Aurora's police budget accounts for over 50% of their entire budget. I think it's like close to 60%. So, why is it that we are paying the people that solve 2% of crime 60% of the city budget or even 50% of the budget? Why? I mean, we're not getting the results that we ask for, right? So, what's the point? Double edged in that I know a dog is a great companion for the person, but also if that person can't feed the dog, that's kind of mean to the dog. 100% blue unicorn, but there is studies to say that dogs in the care of unhoused people are definitely happier than and are more loyal to their owners than housed people. I mean, you got to think that dog is with that person like 24/7, right? Cinderella says, I have two bullies, one that's 68 pounds. The second one is at 95 pounds. I walk them hands free on leashes. They would never leave my side. They are the biggest sissies. Cinderella, I've seen that 100 times. I was walking with my daughter. This was a long time ago. This is years ago. I was walking with my daughter at a park, and this pit bull was like running towards my daughter, and I wasn't really afraid. Now of course I stepped in front of my daughter just to make sure nothing was going to happen. And the dog, once it got up to us, I mean it was running at us like you saw that dog in the video, but once it got up to us, it just stood there and it was wagging its tail, which you can never take a dog wagging its tail at face value and think that that dog is happy, because sometimes when they're upset, they can wag their tail as well. But I knew instantly. I was like, this dog is not going to do anything. And my daughter peeked around my leg, looked at the dog, went up to the dog, grabbed his head, and was messing around with the dog. And the owner, frantically came up to me and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. He got away from my leash, and I was just for a second, and blah 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 and all that. And I was like, no, no, it's okay. I love pit bulls and bullies and that type of thing. So it's not a big issue. It was actually really cool that my daughter got to see that these dogs aren't as vicious as what everybody says. What is an acceptable percentage of crime solving? Definitely anything more than 2%, Sasquatch. But I would say, Sasquatch, you've had many jobs in the past. Would any one of those jobs accept 2% as an acceptable percentage of things that get done? So, in other words, if I'm working at McDonald's, right, and you only grill 2% of the burgers and your job is to grill, how long would you last? you know, how long would you last? If that dog, Ellie says, if that dog attacked a Chicago police officer, what do you think would have happened? Be honest. Oh, the officer would have shot the dog. End of story. It would have been over. You know. So I mean, we can go down the line. Let's play this game then, Sasquatch. Let's say I'm a ticket. Uh, like at the movie theaters, I take your ticket when you go into. If I only took 2% of the tickets and I just neglected the rest of them, so people couldn't get in and see their movie, how long would I last? Pew pew happens all the time, Cinderella says. Yeah, 100%. Blue Unicorn says, my old friend used to take her 3-year-old hiking up Gray Rock Trail where there are mountain lions. She said a lion has never got him before. Yeah. Well, I mean, was there any untruth in that, Blue Unicorn? Yeah, 100% that would have happened, Ellie. 100%. So I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think? I mean, I mean, there's a lot of blame here, right? A lot of blame, and the first and foremost blame is for the owner not keeping that dog on a leash. I mean, that dog was definitely not leashed. So number one, that dog is getting out and about because the owner is allowing it. So there is blame to be had there for sure. I'm not discounting what the homeless guy his part in responsibility for this. But I think the city as a whole has failed Twila Luna, her husband, and her dog. And I think we need to take a better look at city budgets and decide what are the priorities. Are the priorities paying the cops that kill us and beat us up and do all the nefarious things that we know they do, not based solely on my channel. I mean, you can see hundreds of videos of cops acting irresponsibly, picking on citizens, disrespecting citizens, you know, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I mean, Twyla, I think that's sage advice. Sue the city. I mean, I would. I mean, because they are responsible because they didn't do anything. They knew it, and it looks like you have all the proper paperwork. So I would probably look into suing the city. I mean, I'm sure that there's PTSD with your husband. I'm sure there's PTSD even with the dog. I mean, it's crazy. That dog was put in a lot of danger there. I mean, all because of another dog and its neglectful owner. You know, I'm hip. I was just curious what the acceptable percentage. The Sasquatch, come up here, Sasquatch. We can have a discussion. Um, I would I would say 75% of crime at least needs to be solved. I mean, 2% to me is unacceptable, Sasquatch. The only time I like 2% is in milk. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't, I mean, any job you say 2% of your job is complete and you're going to get fired or, you're going to have very unhappy customers. I mean, I just can't think of a job where 2% of what you do is acceptable. I mean, you can go down the line, construction worker. What if a construction worker did 2% of a road? You know, what if the cable guy only gave you 2% of your internet? That's good enough. No, I don't think it's good enough. You know, I don't think 2% is good enough in any job whatsoever. Any of them. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I've rolled up and on police and they're sitting in their cars doing nothing. Oh, I'm working on a report. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're working on a report. Whatever. I've heard that song and dance 100 times before, especially if bitten before it obviously dog aggressive. This breed is so misunderstood. Responsible owners get a bad rap when these things happen. 100% Cinderella. Like I said, I don't blame the breed. I mean, I think Denver changed its laws. They used to not allow you to have pit bulls or you can only have one under certain conditions. And I think they got rid of those BS um, BS rules. It is the third time. It was the third time that dog had bit someone, and that's a shame. I don't blame the dog. I really don't. Those dogs can be rehabbed. I've seen old mean dogs in shelters get rehabbed by the proper people. It just takes the right person with the proper amount of um, patience and know-how to. Oh, it's his fourth attack. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's that dog has never been told it's not okay. Yeah, I know. And the dog could learn. The dog could learn. I mean, I've seen it 100 times. A very aggressive, chomper get trained properly. Yeah. Oh my God, my dog would be gone. I know, Cinderella. It's crazy. But I do love bully dogs. I think they're a great breed. I think they do get a bad rap. It's all about ownership and owning up to what amounts to owner mistakes. I mean, that's the micro view of it. If you look at the macro view, it has to do with budgetary concerns and government spending and all kinds of things that come to mind. So yeah, I would say I would say that you know, an attorney probably is a good idea, Twyla. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think, you know, the city not taking action is definitely at least partially responsible for, um, you know, helping you out there. You know, they did nothing. You know, I definitely want everybody to be safe. That's the whole thing. And I know there's deeper discussions on homeless people and stuff. And I mean, homeless people taking refuge in a park, what else are they supposed to do? Where else are they supposed to go? You know, I have a 129-pound mastiff. Wow, that's a big dog, Sasquatch. That is a big dog. I like mastiffs too. Mastiffs can be, man, they can be beast, man. You know, but it is up to the owners to you know, take care of those dogs, you know, and make sure that they're brought up the right way, socialized the right way, 100%. You know, I feel bad for you, Twyla, and I do definitely feel bad for your dog and your husband. I mean, they didn't need to go through that. I mean, it's fucking crazy, and the fact the city isn't willing to do anything about it is another crazy thing. And the mayor there needs to get his head examined. You know, that's just crazy. And I know it seems frustrating. I know it's frustrating for you. Oh, look who we got here. My good friend Sasquatch. How you doing, Sasquatch?
Did you just say brought up the white way?
Right way, not
Oh,
white.
yeah, it was just a little Freudian slip. I got you.
No, 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 no Freudians. It's your hearing is going, Sasquatch.
Oh, I'll go back and listen to it again later because I find it humorous.
How you been, Sasquatch? What do you have to say about this whole dog attack shit?
Okay. I have not seen the dog attack, but I have seen a dog. I have a puppy.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
You can call him Buddy.
What's his name, Buddy?
Buddy.
I
Yeah,
used to have a dog named Buddy. How ironic.
ironic. In general, all right. So, have you ever spent time training dogs like 2D level of professional status at all?
I have not, but I have played a professional dog trainer on TV, Sasquatch. So
On YouTube? Yeah, right. Okay, so when there, you know what culling in animals is?
culling. I only know the proper use of the word culling. In this instant,
That
what is it, killing animals, right?
well, typically it's utilized when dealing with like overpopulated animals
Right.
like deer and whatnot, but it also applies in breeding.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a stage of choosing puppies when you're going to train where you don't choose certain puppies with certain mental twitches.
Got you.
That's why you go and spend time with each puppy separately and you look at kind of the things they do, how many toes they got, do they got extra tails or eyes or whatever, you know. Some things are obvious, some are not.
Well, you're
Some
talking about back breeding dogs, right? Like the backyard breeder type shit.
I
Sasquatch.
no, I was actually speaking specifically on the training aspect less
Okay.
than the breeding part. I'm going to kind of skip over that part. But when you choose a puppy based on its ability, you're theorizing, you're guessing, right?
Right.
You look at the things that the puppy does and how it reacts to you, and you say, okay, well, this puppy looks like he's trainable. We will take this one with us to train.
Well, okay. So here's another discussion point. I mean, in my opinion, almost any any puppy has is trainable. You know, unless there's some breeding issues, which if you're right, breeding is a whole different animal. Uh,
Yeah, that's
putting
why I
them-
kind of skipped it. I was just like,
yeah,
okay, well, in culling, you kill the ones that are unsuitable for whatever it is that you're trying to breed. But when you're talking training, you
yeah,
call out the ones that are you don't kill them. They go and be pets and do whatever thing they need to do that doesn't involve heavy duty training. But if a puppy is not attentive, it
uh,
becomes 10,000 times harder to train them to do things that require attention.
I see.
Right.
You're talking about like cherry picking your
Selective.
dogs,
Yes.
dogs that to train.
Yes. Unlike this one, which was just dropped off at my son got a place and decided to get a dog. And then the next day or two, he got evicted from his place, unrelated to the dog. So now I have a dog. So, but when you're choosing puppies, when like take police dogs, take search and rescue dogs, body cadaver dogs, these types of training regimens. If I'm not breeding the dogs, I can go to the breeders and go through and interact with every single puppy until I have the number of puppies I need to breed to train. Sorry.
Sure.
Right. That way I get to pick of the litter, so to speak. Even if I'm dealing with 2, 3, 7, 10 different litters, dealing with 10 or 12 different breeders or whatnot, you get to choose for the best characteristics. That is considered a cull. You don't necessarily have to kill 2 culls. You're just removing them from a given population. In this case, a training population.
Right. So what is the broader point here then in regards to this dog, Sasquatch?
When homeless people decide to have dogs, and I'm not saying anything about being homeless or anything about having a dog. I'm just saying that when this dog is eating my disc.
Stop it.
When homeless people keep dogs, it's rare that they have them in a position to be capable of actually training them properly, right?
Right.
I'm not saying 100%, hashtag not everybody. Some people have amazing talent. Some people have been trained to do such things. These things are possible. It's just your average Joe on an average day with your average bully is probably not the best trained animal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think part of what you're saying is true, but I also think inherently homeless people actually have an advantage over almost anybody else, and thus their dogs. Well, in this regard, I'm not talking about like in general. I mean, homeless people don't have very many advantages over anybody at all.
Yeah,
time. Time. Yeah, time.
And but time is takes to train a dog. You are correct.
Also, Sasquatch, walking. Half of training is walking a dog. I mean, that's half of it, and when you're not walking your dog, you're definitely neglecting your dog, unless you got and even then, like if you have a super like couch potato-y dog like a basset. I used to have a basset hound, but my basset hound would walk every single day because his nose wouldn't let him stay still. Right. That's how bassets work.
I love basset hounds too. They're fantastic.
Oh, they're great dogs and they're great family dogs and all that. But I just see the problem as more of a especially in this instance. I think the whole city failed Twila's husband and dog.
I'm unfamiliar with the case. If you could drop the whatever backstage.
Well, let's go ahead and take another look at it. Hold on, let me get the video back up. I'll let you watch and decide for yourself. I just got a invitation to go to Trump's national golf thing. I think it's in New Jersey, Sasquatch. I don't know if I'll take him up on that, but
that's East Coast, baby. That might be close enough.
A little far from me, Trump. I don't know.
It is a little far, but
shit. Hold on.
You got to get out of that flyover country one day, don't you?
I mean, maybe. Hold on. Let me pull this. Let me plug this in. I'll show you the video, and then you can.
Do you, baby?
I'm not as good as you, Sasquatch, working the controls. You know what I'm saying?
Very few are. No, I'm joking.
Make sure you check out the Sasquatch channel. Sasquatch is a YouTube legend for doing everything opposite of what YouTube wants. Pretty much. Let me put it up on the screen here, and then you'll be able to see it, Squatchy. Window. Here we go. Pitbull attack. So check this out here, and I don't think this is an indictment on the breed itself either. I know, a lot of people are very anti-pit bull, but pit bulls are fine as long as they're trained right. Here we go, Sasquatch. Here is the video once again. It happens pretty quickly. So you see the Twila's husband down there walking the dog, And then here comes a heat-seeking missile. Whoa, knocked over her husband, which I'm surprised her husband didn't sustain more injuries. Uh,
In training, we call that bodying.
yeah, put your body in
Well,
in front
no,
of the dog.
the dog bodied him. He wasn't trying to bite him when he jumped on him. He was just
Right,
trying to knock him away from the little dog, and then they
right,
got tangled up.
right, right. So
That
here we
looks more
go.
like an attack on the other dog than it was an attack on him.
Most definitely, it was going
Okay.
after the dog. The dog has a history, that the pit bull has a history of attacking other dogs. So he's definitely dog aggressive, animal aggressive. So
Right.
uh,
And he had a leash on, but was not under control.
not under control at all.
That is a citable offense right there.
Yeah, but
Um,
the city is not taking action. They said it's budgetary concerns. Like they're
ooh, that
the
sucks.
mayor,
Oh my god.
yeah, the mayor himself said that they're going to stop seizing dogs because he feels it's stealing the dog. In my view, this dog should definitely be seized and tried to rehab it. I don't want a dog put to sleep just because it had a bad day. Can you imagine that, Sasquatch, for humans? You have a bad day. We're just gonna you stole something, or you got in a fight with a neighbor.
I hear you.
And
But at the same time, listen, now, I'm not speaking on this particular case here. That
right,
dog seems to be fairly well kept, had a leash, had a collar. He's had the opportunity of being properly trained. That's the owner's fault if he wasn't.
right, 100%.
With my 129-pound Mastiff over here, if I take him walking down the sidewalk and the dog trainer sees me walking him,
Uh-huh.
he's going to post up somewhere to watch me. And if that dog comes loose from my control at any moment, I'm getting cited.
He'll cite you, and I
And
don't got a problem with that, Squatch.
that's just
I
he
really
doesn't take the dog on the spot because he's so big and so scary, which is funny because he's terrified of everything and hides behind my wife.
aren't they? Most of those big dogs are just wimpy like that, Sasquatch. They're scared of their own shadow. They just
Bro, this dog is scared of my granddaughter and has been since she was so small that she couldn't even get out of the little bassinet thing they were carrying her around.
Oh,
Like he
dear
had
Lord.
nothing to do with it. Nothing
Dear.
at all.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, Sasquatch. I brought this to everybody's attention because I think it's a symptom of a broader problem that, especially in the cities. So, Squatch, I know you're outside the city, so it probably doesn't apply to you. I live in the heart of Denver,
Right.
um, on the east side of Denver, and I see a lot of craziness here going on left and right. And I don't think it has to do with anything but the way that the government is handling themselves in these cities. It's kind of crazy. It's not saying anything leaning left or right. It's just the way that the government decides to pour in their money. I was explaining, I think, before you got on here, Sasquatch, that the city of Aurora's budget, 60% of that budget is going to the police department. I don't know what it
This
is.
isn't their jurisdiction. I
Well,
saw that video saying that the CPD says it's not their jurisdiction. Do they not have an animal handler or dog catcher or something on the city budget?
they do, but they said that they're on a shoestring budget, and they're kind of letting shit like that slide.
In that
And
case, you folks need to vote different next
well,
time.
I mean, but see, I mean, from a purely from a let's say they have a certain amount of money for dog catching, right, or animal control, let's say, and they cut that budget in half. Where does it leave those people that work there? They have half of the money that they used to have to do things, and now they're working on a shoestring budget. I mean, are
Oh
they
no, sir. That in business, you made a point earlier about businesses not accepting the results that police grant. This is one of those cases where when you cut half the budget of a business, more than half the people get fired.
right? Well, see, there you go. Okay, so So this Elon Musk going in and saying, "Well, we don't need this department. We don't need this department. We can pull money from this department." I mean, it's absolute fucking chaos, right? Which I mean, some people would welcome that because of the state of our government and the way that it's been going for the past few decades or so. But I'm of the mind, if something ain't broke, why fix it? I mean, there's plenty of things to fix, like the police, why would you go after the
Name
budget?
one thing in government that's not broke, sir.
Oh fuck, I can't name one, Sasquatch.
Okay, all right. Just making sure we're on the same page here.
No,
Same
no, no,
government.
100%. But I'm saying something as benign as animal control, right? I mean, that's the least, at least from my point of view in the city, being on the streets and knowing what I know. I mean, I wouldn't, I mean, for me, I wouldn't go protest the fucking animal control. I mean, they're doing what they can. It's like the post office, Sasquatch. There's plenty of problems with the post office, right? But I would say that it runs fairly efficiently. I put my mail in, it gets mailed out usually
No,
nine
no,
times out of 10. Nine
no.
times out of 10, I said.
You have no, sir. You're not looking from the inside out. You have no idea how efficiently it happens. All you know is you put a stamp on an envelope, put it in a box, and it gets where it's going.
100%. You're right. You're
Why
right.
not?
But I'm saying it normally works the way that it should, right? It's not one of these, like, I'm not one of these quote unquote auditors that goes to post offices, Sasquatch, and
I know,
bothers.
I know, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
get
big
it, but I am saying that everywhere that government treads involves corruption and misallocation of funds. That seems to be government's secondary purpose. And ow, my foot.
Right, right. No, but what I'm saying, there's a big difference between, let's say, the police department and animal control, and other things like the post office, Sasquatch. My beefs are not with those lower end kind of government entities, right?
Your beef is with city managers, is with the allocation services that are being used, and my puppy barking.
No, but you see what I'm saying? There's a level where I would put, like, I mean, in all honesty, Sasquatch, this is why I don't do post offices, right? You see a lot of those videos where the guys or girls go into the post. Oh, look at that, man. I don't know who's cuter, your beard or the dog, Sasquatch. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to save my toes, man. I ain't got no shoes on. I just hopped up here. This is Buddy. His breed is floor goblin because he runs around on the floor gobbling up everything.
Floor goblin. I love that, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's an actual breed attached to it. It might have something to do with a boxer. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Send in the DNA test, Sasquatch, and let us all know.
No.
But you see my point. There are
I get you.
There are problems and there are smaller problems, right? Like animal control, I wouldn't even put in my top 10 of government agencies that I need to go investigate. You know what I mean? I mean, police would be at the top. Police
Typically, that you wouldn't even have in your top 10 to investigate. Typically, because you typically don't hear nothing about it because things are functioning. When they stop working, suddenly people look around and go, wait, who dropped the ball on that?
Right.
That's it's blame more than anything else. But no, I don't think blame necessarily needs to be assigned. Results need to be gained.
Right. No, you're correct, Sasquatch. I just, the broader point being, if I had to divide my time in government, and let's say it was a pie chart, right? And I had to assign like a percentage to animal control, or the post office is another one that I can think of that's fairly benign to me. Social Security office is another one. I mean, why do I need to go in tooling around at a Social Security office? And that's, like you said, I have a very specific reason. Somebody wasn't treated right there, something of that nature. Like, same thing with the post office. Like I, in a million years, I think I've been to one post office. I think I might have one post office, and I thought, how boring is this? There's nothing. I mean, I know I can get a reaction from these people, right? Like, just if you want a reaction doing audits, right? Just stand in a post office lobby for about 20 minutes and you'll get a reaction, right? It's the most low hanging fruit that you can do as far as auditing goes. I never understood the post office thing, right?
Well, you said something there in the middle of that about how you wouldn't do a Social Security office unless someone had been mistreated there in the first place.
Right.
Is this not a case of someone being of a situation being mistreated?
Well, 100%. And what I told Twyla, I mean, I'm not there. Otherwise, I would do something. I mean, I would at least try to have a meeting with the mayor. Maybe. I mean, I've done that before. Let's talk about a certain situation. I mean, but in my view, I mean, if let's say Twyla was in Denver, most certainly I'd try to figure out what the fuck is going on because it's in my city, right? But logistics tell me I can't afford to go and help Twila Luna. You know what I mean? So I'm doing the best that I can by bringing at least some attention to it. I mean, I know this is a small channel in the grand scheme of things, but I think if enough people see it, which, maybe they will, maybe there will be some type of action. But I thought bringing this story would bring about a bigger discussion because the way I titled it is All Hell Really Breaking Loose, Sasquatch. And the reason that I titled it that is because I think all hell is breaking loose, especially in cities like mine. Like the amount of ICE agents that I've seen out and about, going door to door trying to find quote unquote illegal immigrants. Things, I mean, shit's really going down and it's going down fairly quickly. And I guess we all are implicated in this because it's what everybody wanted, right? We wanted border security and shit like this. So I guess this is the president's way of saying I'm at least trying.
In my defense, before I start this statement, I
Yeah.
want to be clear that I am practicing for a debate that I'm having with someone on the 24th. It's a position I've been sort of given, and I'm supposed to try to defend it or whatever, and it's
Right.
like we're doing this thing. Okay. When our optics are bad, unless your purpose with the optics is to be a warning to others, right? So when it comes down to like raiding in and taking a whole family and the cameras being there and seeing the whole thing and everybody's crying and it's all emotional as hell,
Hmm.
I understand how that has an emotional effect. It also has an effect on people planning to come here, right? Now, most people do not. There's a distinction between legal and illegal migrants. There's also a distinction between criminal illegal migrants and illegal migrants. Now, some people say if you've crossed the border illegally, then you're a criminal and you should be deported. I think there's a little bit more wiggle room than that,
I
right?
agree with that. I agree with that, Sasquatch. And here's
However, once you've crossed the border illegally, if you come over and perpetrate any form of violent crime or gang crime or group crime or anything over a felony, I
Mhm.
think that should be a first ticket out. I think you just said you don't want to be an American. You came in illegally and then did non-American things.
Okay. 100% Sasquatch. I would agree with that. But do you know the percentage of people that are like that cross the border illegally? Very, very little. Matter of fact, there are plenty of studies that say the people that cross the border, whether legally or illegally, are better citizens than our own citizens.
Well, first of all, they're not citizens, but second of all, they can't be better citizens if they're not citizens in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying
Okay.
I'll stop.
Semantics aside, Sasquatch.
Yeah, semantics aside, right, right, right.
The people that cross over here, right, are okay, I'm not going to use the word citizen because it's semantics. Seem to break the law a lot less than actual citizens of the country.
Well, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And I would figure that's the way the statistics would turn, which implies that the deportation of illegal criminals should be a fairly cut and dry case, right? I mean, you
I
can
would
agree
say
criminals are criminals, whether they're American or whatever. right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're an illegal criminal, we should either deport you or imprison you for the illegal things that, well, the criminal things that you did, to try to keep the verbiage linear.
Right. Right.
So whether or not you came here illegally, I'm not nearly as concerned about that as I am with what you did once you got here. Stop chewing on my wires like this. I want to deport the dog. You got
There you
anything?
go. He's a criminal dog, Sasquatch. Get him out of here. Make
He's
him
trying his best to chew on my HDMI to my TV.
Oh well, I mean, you're watching TV, and all of a sudden, no more TV. I mean, this is the way it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's razors for teeth too.
couple of things. I know puppy teeth are the worst, man. Alfredo says antidotes are not facts. 100%. I would agree with that, Alfredo. I would totally agree.
Well, no, antidotes are not facts. They are cures for poison.
Yeah.
Which, so are facts for that matter.
Right. Blue Unicorn says criminals from Canada are better criminals than the United States. That's a good point, Blue Unicorn. I mean,
hold on, sir. Just because they apologize to you while robbing you does not make them better.
Well, and they can say a boot really good too, Sasquatch. That's
you
pretty
don't know what they mean. Is it on your foot or you rode across a lake? I don't know.
Oh man. So I agree with you, Sasquatch. I mean, criminals are criminals, right? I mean, if you're gonna criminal, you're a criminal. But
and
I do think
dealt with legally, right?
Right. But here's the thing. I think we need to look at this whole immigration thing a little bit differently. The statistics right now, Sasquatch, bear out that more people are leaving this country than are actually entering the country. So we have a net, I don't know what they call it. There's a specific term for, like immigration and immigration, like the deficit for it, or the positive of it. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we just simply don't have an immigration crisis like it's being portrayed. It just
now untrue. Your statistics would take into account legals and illegals and citizens leaving, whether they're leaving for a permanence, to taking citizenship elsewhere or whatever, or they're just leaving for 6 months or dual citizens. All of that would be accounted in the same statistic.
I'd have to look at the statistics again, but I don't think it would much matter for purposes of this discussion.
It would certainly matter because there are 350 million citizen Americans, and some portion of them leaving would skew that particular statistic hugely.
The number is 650 million, Sasquatch. We're 650 million strong.
Right, but we're talking about what, 2 to 6 million immigrants, depending on who you're listening to. The 600 and however many million is so much huger. If a single percentage point of them decided to leave, it would hugely sway the statistic you quoted.
100%. 100%. Fun fact: citizens commit more crimes than migrants, but nobody's saying shit about that, except for me, narrator.
Well, there's already laws in place to prevent that, and the laws are utilized to lock up citizens. And if you don't believe that, go out there and go talk to a cop. Don't even break a law. Just talk to a cop. Just go see what happens.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's also true. I mean, we could have a broader discussion on the prison industrial complex.
Right. Yeah, that's its own.
But I mean, the land of the free, right, Sasquatch? Yet we incarcerate more people per capita than any other country in the whole world. So,
and they're still less safe than, or at least half of other countries in the world.
I'm right, 100%. 100%.
That doesn't seem to. Something's wrong either with the application or the indication. I'm not sure which, but I'm pretty sure.
Unicorn says, I that's my position. I think borders are stupid and only separate tax cattle. Okay, that is a broader discussion on borders and open borders and non-open borders and stuff like that. Blue Unicorn, and I definitely would love to have you up here to discuss that as well, because that's an interesting conundrum. I've always said, Sasquatch, like, if we want to avoid this quote unquote border crisis, which I don't think it's a crisis, I think we have to keep an open mind to people that want to live here, because this is
really easy, bro.
Well, I mean, look, we have 650 million people in this country, right? Which sounds like a lot, but all I'm going to tell you is we have room for a lot more. Have you ever driven across the country, Sasquatch?
I have at least to Texas and
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get a good taste of it. I mean, from
Sure.
where you are to Texas, there's vast plots of land. I mean,
Without water,
so
there is no nation. Without laws, there is no nation. If the border and the laws are being disregarded by those who are coming here, we do not have a nation, sir. And you're just puffing pipe dreams at that
well,
point.
what I'm saying is we can still have the border, Sasquatch, if we really want to be a country that is exalted, right? We can still have our border. But what about like people seeking asylum if they come here saying, we're and it
Okay, that's
these
another argument I have. A lot of people conflate the concept of refugees with the concept of migrants. These
right,
are not the same thing. They are a type of migrant, but an illegal immigrant versus a refugee is a non sequitur, non-starter. They are not the same conversation. They don't even go in the same bucket. That's apples and freaking tapirs in the South American jungle. They're not related. For instance, a perfect example: Haitians. Haitians occupy a very unique spot in the ocean where it could be argued that we share a border with them due to the fact that you can climb into a raft and accidentally float into America,
mm,
meaning that Haitians can claim refugee status under international laws in a way that most of these other migrants can't.
right. You do have an opportunity if you claim that you're seeking asylum, right?
But
You,
only if you're in within, I think it's three friendly ports. You can bypass two friendly ports before you apply for refugee status. If you don't, you are not a refugee, sir.
right, but what I'm saying is you are in a situation which a lot of people are in some of these southern countries, right? Like Mexico's the first and foremost one because it's shares a southern border, right? But if you go beyond that, you got all of the South American countries which come up through Mexico, then via our border, right? Um, they are seeking asylum for real reasons. I mean, a lot of these people are terrorized by cartels or drug runners or gangs or whatever it is they're claiming, right? But it's up to the magistrates at the border to decide whether or not that these things are valid or not, right? And who am I to disagree with the
Sir,
decision?
I believe that comes down to a judge once they've been documented as entering. And this is one of those catching points we have, right? Where people don't really understand how the system is supposed to work because it hasn't worked properly since the mid 80s.
Right, right. Well, Peace, Love, Sunshine is in chat. Welcome on in, and so is the narrator. Welcome, narrator. Says, what about people that overstay their visa? They have entered illegally, or I'm sorry, legally, and are working and paying taxes. Are they also illegal people? I don't believe any person is illegal. Peace, love, sunshine.
Well, no, if you're going to utilize a legal term, you have to utilize it across the board, regardless of whether you like how it works or not. Otherwise, you're not communicating. You're just fussing at people about
Well,
emotions.
what
You
I'm
know,
telling you is, I don't believe any person is illegal.
but
Sasquatch.
legal, when you're talking legal language about a legal topic, it is very difficult to say, well, nobody's illegal, and then turn around and kind of be forced to use the term illegal to distinguish between legal migrants who have entered through a port of entry versus anyone else who decided to swim across on a bathtub or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Narrator
illegal.
Right. Narrator says they want to criminalize anyone they see as, quote, other, and they're actually creating new laws to do that. If you have to create a law to incarcerate someone, they probably weren't a criminal in the first place. I would agree with that, narrator. But I would also say that would lend to the broader discussion of the prison pipeline system that we have in this country. But it's not. I don't think we want to get into that territory right now because that would take up a lot of time.
And that's another problem with trying to have discussions about these types of issues is they're not in a vacuum. We can't talk deportation without talking legal migrancy. We can't talk legal migrancy without talking about ports of entry and the doctrine and protocol that goes on there. We
Right.
can't talk ports of entry without discussing international refugee laws. And I mean, it just unravels once you start plucking at it.
Right. Blue Unicorn says a Cuban Cuban reaches U.S. land, they are generally able to apply for asylum and have a high chance of being granted it due to the historical wet foot, dry foot policy, which allows Cubans who reached there. You didn't finish your point, but I get your point, Blue Unicorn. Alfredo says in Texas, undocumented immigrants were 26% less likely to be convicted of homicide than native born Americans from 2013 to 2022. That's
Does
that
that
that lends to my point. Like, instead of turning away these people and believing that every one of them is a criminal or a rapist or a thief or whatever you want to call them, why not give them a social security number and see what they got? You know, I'm dead serious about this. Like,
okay?
I
Well, then
don't
we
think.
have to back up and talk about the GDP. I mean, that's what I'm saying about it's not in a vacuum. One decision affects an entire plethora of things that fall away from that point.
Right. And okay, so okay, well, let's go down this road, Sasquatch. Let's take the opposite tack. Let's deport all of them, right? Every single illegal immigrant, every immigrant here that's here legally or illegally, which has been bandied about. Let's start with the illegals, right? Let's start with the illegal ones. Let's just across the board, just, if we could just snap our fingers, have everybody leave.
Snap them out of existence.
Right. Let's get them out, right back to their country of origin or whatever, which they're not all Mexicans, right?
Yeah, I know, bro.
Uh,
Yeah, I get it.
I know you're
I'm
joking.
in a position that I am trying to own my skills at defending, not necessarily because I buy into it, but because
No,
that's
I hear you. I hear you. No, this is good. It's good discussion, Sasquatch. So now we have the opposite problem. You were talking about GDP. What do you think would happen to GDP if that actually happened, Sasquatch?
Okay. So you take two steps back, take a look at what all migrants, not legals, not legal, not no distinction, just everyone who comes from outside of America comes into America will do one of two things: either make as much money as they possibly can to send home, or make as much money as they possibly can to live here. The ones that make as much money as they possibly can send back remittance to their families back home. I don't have any cultural issue with this, but it does have an effect on the bargain basement of the GDP, bro. That is basically artificial inflation that cannot be tracked. We can't ask people how much money they're sending home every month so that we can adjust for the inflation of that.
Okay.
That's an issue. I mean, not a huge
Well,
one.
I mean, doesn't that
It's
speak to what this country's supposed to be about and freedom? I don't want to know what you're doing with your money, Sasquatch. You can go
Sure.
buy as many sex dolls as I could possibly imagine, and I don't want to know that. You know what I mean? Like,
You
why
get
would
what you're
you?
saying. But
Well,
pretending that something like remittance is not a non-issue on its surface is disingenuous and basically just wrong. I mean, you're talking about a significant portion of people's income. These are perfectly ordinary people doing perfectly ordinary jobs, and they send a significant portion of it home so that when they either do get deported or get tired of being in America or whatever, they can go home and live like kings.
that's
You know,
that's patently false, Sasquatch. I mean,
hypothetical. Come on, let me run the
I,
line. I'm trying to run over here. You
I
make it
know,
dumb.
I know what you're doing, Sasquatch. But check
Go
this
ahead.
out, Sasquatch. I understand that premise, but think about what you just said there, man. Like, live like kings. Like, I mean, you think that you working here, sending back a significant import. Let's say it's 75% of what you make, right? You think you're gonna live like a king in Mexico, man? Like, the amounts of like. There's a reason why a lot of people are leaving Mexico to come back to the United States, Sasquatch. It's because the price of everything. I don't even know how you would, like, the economy, I guess, is almost is creeping up. I mean, it's still not there yet, right? Because they don't have the natural resources and stuff of that nature. But they do have silver mines, and a lot of their money is backed by silver. I know the old standard was gold standard and all this, but in Mexico, there's a lot of silver mines. Now you were talking about sending money back to your country and stuff. The people that own a lot of those silver mines are actually owned by Americans and
Well,
send that
see,
money back to the United States.
this is what I mean about trying to have this
I
conversation.
know, I know. I was just, I
You
thought it,
cannot do it. It's impossible. You can't have it in a nutshell. We can't do things in the small
no.
because the reasons behind these people, the reason behind the things that are happening are so diverse and range from economics to warfare to all kinds of different things.
Well,
Um,
here's another good
this whole
point that
conversation,
narrator brings up here, Sasquatch. She says the problem is that migrants sending money home to their family would be absolutely no issue if we actually tax billionaires like we do the middle class.
so what you're saying is you want to bring in a bunch of people who are going to be sending money out of the country
Well,
and tax a bunch of people who are making money in the country.
I don't really care.
I'm not.
I don't care what people do with their money, Sasquatch. You know what I mean? Like that'd be like equivalent of me
But
saying,
you do, because if you're going to tax people more, you're doing it at gunpoint by the federal government.
no,
There's no
Sasquatch.
ways about
Okay,
that.
hold on. That's where you get it wrong. We don't tax billionaires like we tax middle class people here or poor class people here. The effective rate of billionaires is like a small percentage.
That's a totally different conversation. We're
Yeah,
talking
it is.
concept of taxation, not specifics and details, right?
I always
If
wonder. Yeah.
On the other hand, if you take more money from billionaires will do less work here. They do a lot of philanthropy to dodge taxes, bro. They give money to all kinds of stuff to try to get rid of taxes, their own taxes. This is why billionaires, quote unquote, don't pay their fair share, is because they're already giving out massive amounts of money to different philanthropic purposes.
In the grand scheme of things, Sasquatch, it doesn't amount to what you think it amounts to. You know what I mean?
And I don't think
Like,
it amounts to what you think it amounts to. I think maybe we are both off base here, and just patently saying someone else is wrong because I'm right is
no. Neither one of us is saying that, Sasquatch. Like you and I are both intelligent enough to know what we're doing here, Sasquatch. What I'm saying is the amount of money typically that billionaires you're talking about willingly giving money to avoid taxes. I mean,
it's not willing. It's not willing.
Well, if you're giving money philanthropy, that's the very definition of philanthropy.
I hear what you're saying, but the reality is the U.S. government has set up a tax code in a way that allows wealthy people to discharge their taxes through philanthropy rather than discharging them to the federal government, allowing the billionaires to pay for the programs they specifically want to pay for when you have to pay taxes to programs that the federal government decides you're going to pay for.
Right. But check this out. Narrator says something interesting here too. Billionaires don't make money in the country either. They generally have their factories out of the country, right? And also sell goods in other countries. That's 100% correct. And also they get tax shelters too. That no other people that I know of get tax shelters. Like they plant money in like the Virgin Islands and other neutral countries that'll accept money from almost anywhere. Right. So hiding money is another problem that is a problem in this country. And it's mostly to do with
it's not okay for American citizens who have made money living in America and doing the American thing all their life. They can't hide money, but immigrants coming in can send money out of the country with all willy-nilly as they want.
Do you realize that anytime money is sent out of the country, Sasquatch, it actually is recorded?
But nothing's done with it.
Well, nothing's done with it, but it's recorded. So the numbers are there. I mean, what you do with your money is of nobody's concern.
But there's an awful lot of drug lords in downtown LA who seem to disagree with that premise. They do it. No problem, bro. The cartels have no problem getting money across the border.
That's another issue. Okay, so Trump's big thing is fentanyl, right? He wants to stop the fentanyl from coming in the country.
Too, by the way, that's my sticking point is fentanyl, honestly.
Okay, well, let's go down that route. You realize that he wants to prevent 0.02% of the fentanyl that's coming across. That's his premise. He thinks that illegal immigration is bringing in all the fentanyl, and we both know that's not true, Sasquatch.
That's a volume situation, sir. That is disingenuous on its surface.
No. The vast majority of the fentanyl that's brought into this country is brought in by United States citizens. The vast majority. Because it's easier for a citizen to get in this country, is it not?
I think fentanyl is the touchstone that he's utilizing to get through to the people who have lost someone to fentanyl. It's a very sore subject, very sore spot, right? If you hear somebody's trying to stop it, you somebody who lost a daughter, lost a cousin, lost a husband, a brother, they are liable to stand on San Juan Hill by their damn self and defend that one because that stuff is evil. It
I
has
agree. There's
virtually
no,
no medical use whatsoever, and certainly no street use at all.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well,
so
there is street use for it. I mean, it's given all the time, but it is killing people at an alarming rate. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
people
just
don't
that
care.
no one has any clue how truly potent that stuff is. It
Oh, it's
literally takes a chemist to figure out, okay,
100%.
if you're dropping decimal, you just killed the entire customer base.
Right. Let me get to Alfredo's comment here. Alfredo, thank you for being in chat, buddy. He's a Monster Squad member, so I appreciate you. In 2022, households led by undocumented immigrants paid $75.6 billion in total taxes. This includes 29 billion in state and local taxes and 46 billion in federal taxes. And then Blue Unicorn, see, this is another problem, Sasquatch. Blue Unicorn brings up GE pays zero taxes every year. And this is okay. So now we're getting into a deep discussion, Sasquatch, and I want you
Corporations. Now
to.
we're going into corporations as
So,
personal
yeah.
entity.
Let's
I
talk
think
about
is an error in the
corporations.
first place.
I do want to go there because I do want to make a point. The United States at its peak economy point, right, which is not right now, but back, I believe, in the 20s, Sasquatch. I know I'm not old enough to live in the 20s, but that's when the United States was really humming economically, other than what was coming with the Great Depression and things of that nature, right? Um, but companies then were paying an effective tax rate anywhere between 75 and 90%. And those companies were flourishing just
But
like
also, there's more to
their
it.
employees.
The individual employees in the individual cul-de-sacs and the newly constructed housing units that were taking place was that post World War II, pre World War no post World War One, pre World War II.
Yeah.
There's a huge housing boom. Taxation went up to like 80-90% in some places.
Well,
Plus, corporate taxation was also absurdly high at the
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
around 90.
And those companies weren't complaining at the
But
time.
that is the economic boom that you're talking about. That's what
Okay.
led to Black Tuesday and all of the Great Depression.
Right. And I agree with that, but those companies were doing just fine. I'm not saying 90% should be the rate, Sasquatch. That's absurd, especially in today's economy.
Also, yeah, that today's economy bit, that's a serious statement because the economy back then was quite different. I mean, bananas were all the rage.
And I understand things evolve, right? I'm not opposed to having an open discussion on tax rates because I mean, I think we do need tax reform. You know, I mean, because the working class, the middle class, and the lower class, the lower income people are getting squashed. I'll give you an example, Sasquatch. Last year, I did Bernie's taxes, and I'm just talking federal taxes. We got a $14 refund, and that was with me working the system. You know, what, quote unquote, working the system in the right way, legal way, right? Everything I can do to get any tax break that I could possibly think of. I got us to where we finally got a tax break federally, right? Fast forward to this year, and Bernie made slightly more money. I'm talking maybe 1,000, 2,000 more, and now we're having to pay $250 in federal taxes.
Sure, you're talking to a person who has not received a refund on my taxes.
Right.
22 years.
Right.
It's
And that's not fair.
Not working the system is because they've always determined that I was in either a single or high enough tax bracket that not something I qualify for.
Right. And that's obscene and absurd, Sasquatch, because there's a lot of people that work really hard for their money that deserve
I was homeless at the time. It was so funny.
All right,
I make a bunch of money, but I owe a bunch of money. I can't.
I know. How? Ellie says, how can immigrants make money in their own country or even build up their country when they have forced labor to make things for the U.S. and our government endorses this to be billions? Good point, Ellie. I mean, that's a broader discussion on some worldly things that it's countries taking advantage of other countries type. type thing. Twila says shell game with shell company. Narrator says I probably give the same percentage of my income to charity every year as Elon Musk, but I still got to pay more in taxes. There's something wrong with that. That's a broader discussion as well, narrator. We're definitely going to have those discussions on this channel. I promise.
All right, we were talking about dog attacks. Do you want?
We were, but see, Sasquatch. I knew that this dog attack, knowing the background story of what Twila sent me and the email, and knowing that it was a budgetary, really what it boils down to is two things: owners not taking care of their pets and city budgetary concerns. Those are the two points, and the city budgetary concern really irks me because I always think of police budgets, Sasquatch.
Right, I know, and you kind of got that stuck on your brain, but there's more to a city budget than the police. So while it may take 60%,
right,
and that is absurd, I don't think that should be the case.
I agree.
While but that is that to the exclusion of other things, or is that their own revenue generation programs?
Well, by definition, Sasquatch, it could only be to the detriment of other things. Right?
No, because police have revenue generating schemes that allow them to fund themselves as long as the money doesn't actually leave the department.
I don't know what you're saying. That's not true, Sasquatch. If you look at what the city, okay, I'll give you an example. In Aurora, they set up what they thought was going to be a brilliant idea, right? Set up all these vans that were doing photo radar shit, right? Those photo radars ended up costing the city $500,000, right? This was the big brainchild of one of the, what do you call it? City council members, right? They proposed this, they approved it, they got the funding for it, and they put out these vans. Well, these vans were costing the city, right? So these, if you're talking like speeding tickets and shit like that, it's a pittance of what we pay these police officers. I
depends on what type of town you're in. I know that in Georgia we have a number of small towns that are near interstates, and like 97% of their budget comes from people being pulled on the interstate. You know.
All right. Okay. So there's a distinction to be made there. If we're talking about cities, it's a pittance, Sasquatch. If we're talking about small time towns and stuff, of course. I mean, $200 that you get from the guy speeding down the road could make a big difference in that type of budget, right? In a small town budget. I'm talking bigger budgets, like cities, for instance. Like the city of Aurora has a huge budget, and 60% of their budget goes to the police. So I don't have a problem saying defund the police, Sasquatch. I don't believe we should get rid of police. I'm not in that camp, but I think they take up way too much of the city's budget. And in Denver, I think it's about 50% in Denver, which is absurd.
Can I offer a counter proposal?
Yeah, go right ahead.
It'll serve the same purpose as defunding the police without reducing police and still costing less. Demilitarize the police.
Oh, that's a good one, Sasquatch. We could definitely do that, but they don't want to do that.
It doesn't sound nearly as snotty as defund the police. If you just demilitarize, we don't need soldiers on our freaking streets in the first place. That is a bad optic. That is bad. That's not good on any surface. Soldiers are not trained to respect Constitution. They don't respect citizenship. They are there for shock and awe. And in order to hire a military trained person to be a law enforcement officer, you have to untrain their shock and awe features.
Okay, that's another discussion, Sasquatch. On the horn, we got Alan B. Alan B, how are you, sir? Nice to talk with you.
I'm fine, my friend. How are you?
You know what? Yeah. We're having a good discussion here, Alan B. I think the United States has gone mental, Alan. What do you
Fucking hell. He's off his fucking head, the geezer, man.
I'll be right back.
All right, Sasquatch. But yeah, I mean, we started with a dog attack, Alan, and now we're on to the problems with the United States. But let me read some comments here, and then I'll get your comments, Alan. Narrator says the percentage of income these billionaires give to charity versus the tax break they get is not even close. It would be like me giving $100 to charity every year and never having to pay taxes. 100% narrator. That's a great point. If you add up all the taxes and fees and everything like property tax or gas tax or whatnot, we do pay 60 to 80% of our income on tax. Yes, we do, Blue Unicorn, but the corporations do not. And treating corporations like people is not one of the things I think we should be doing, but we do treat them like people. This is how conversations organically gets to the important issues. 100%. Ellie says it's all that white guy Javier's fault. How dare you, Ellie? I know that reference. Let's see. Chicago budget partially wrecked by Greg Abbott. Business Venezuelans busing Venezuelans to Chicago. Ooh, there's a lot of discussion there, Twila, and I disagree with him doing that. It's a bunch of bullshit. Blue Unicorn says, no, it's true. In Corvallis, all the tickets pay into the general fund, and the police are paid out of that general fund. The cops' purpose is to generate revenue, and that's all. But they make more than that revenue, Blue Unicorn, except it, like what Sasquatch said, in small towns. My idea is that each neighborhood dedicates one house for the neighborhood police, and the neighborhood police have one job, which is keep the neighborhood safe. If everyone is in that neighborhood, and if the neighborhood doesn't like the cop, they can fire him. I think that's a great idea. That goes to community policing, Blue Unicorn. Alan, what did you want to say, buddy? Thanks for being on here.
Oh, it's fine. I just sorry to butt in. It's just that when you said about the way the country's going at the moment, what I couldn't understand is anyone meant. I probably get barred from every Twitter feed, or I don't even know. But I mean, it's a maniac. The man's a complete maniac. Please say, am I losing my marbles here?
Are you talking about Donald Trump, Alan?
Yeah.
Look, he's doing a lot. I mean, he said all the right things at the beginning, Alan. Like a lot of people are on board.
Well, what we do, we'll invade Greenland. Well, what we'll do is, what's he talking? He's talking out of his arse, man. He's going to walk over the Green. We just take this country. What a complete git.
He wants to take over Greenland, Alan. He wants to take the Panama Canal. Like he's talking out of his ass.
The thing is, he's mad because what's he going to do? Just walks over to Panama and say hello. This is my canal now. What a fucking nutter!
Yeah. Blue Unicorn says Israel first is what MAGA likes. Am I right? Blue Unicorn. I mean, that's not far from the truth. And I hate it when you have any criticism of Israel and their treatment of the Palestinians. People call you an anti-Semite. I think that's one of the most un-American things you can do is call.
The Israel thing's a bit. It's so complicated. I can't get into it's very, very, very difficult to pick. Sort of who's right, who's wrong, or whatever. But coming back to my friend, Mr. Trump.
Your friend, you're on a first name basis with him. Just call him Donald, Alan. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. Donald.
Pull him up on speed dial. Let's talk to him right now.
Oh, I mean, what's he thinking? Like Denmark are just going to say, "Oh yeah, just take Greenland. You can have it. Well, how much? Fuck it, you can have it free." And then like he thinks he really does believe. I think what he is, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to pick it to pieces, but I think he's a sort of like what we do. We go with the maddest thing I can think of, and then whatever we get is a bonus.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
100%, Ellie. Ellie says, Alan, if Trump is your friend, then you can keep him. Would you be willing to as a person, as a British person, Alan, would you be willing to have Trump in your country in any type of political fashion?
No, I'd rather him get on the spaceship and go to Mars.
You think he'd be better suited on Mars? Maybe, man. I mean, the Martians need help, man. Narrator says they hide behind the Holocaust and use it to justify atrocities. It's beyond shameful. It's denigrates the memory of all those who suffered. I agree with you, narrator. I I'm not a huge fan of Netanyahu. I think he's a crazy man. Good Citizen Media, welcome. Nice to have you here. I would vote for Mars too, Ellie says. Yes, I agree. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. All right. Well, Alan, Alan, what's going on in England right now, man? Is it madness over here like it's madness here in the United States? Are your police going door to door looking for illegal immigrants, Alan?
No, no,
Okay.
no, no, that's not happening. That's all bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing much happening as far as I can see, but it's all we're talking about more than what's happening in your country than anything else.
Well,
It's
I
just
think the whole
every
world
time.
is doing that,
It's
Alan.
like
I think the whole
well,
world is wondering what the hell we're gonna do here. Even the
yeah,
citizens here are wondering what the hell we're doing, man. Like it's a complete craziness, which is part of why entitled this. I titled this. I don't know, show, if you want to call it a show. Is all hell breaking loose, and it all stemmed from a dog attack, Alan. And
oh
we got into a deeper discussion about city budgetary concerns and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
it's a crazy thing, man. All I
the
gotta
first,
say, Alan, is we still don't have universal health care here, Alan,
yeah.
and you have it in England, and I'm very envious, man, because
But no, it's not just England, the whole of Europe. I mean, every country in Europe, right? They're not as that. They've all got. You're in, you get fixed, you go. It's like it's a no brainer, but it's so sad that you got to think.
You mean Alan, somebody in your country could never go bankrupt because of medical bills? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course, you could no, you
I'm
don't
just
you don't
saying
pay
that
a thing.
a lot of people in this country go bankrupt because of medical bills and student debt, by the way, Alan.
Yeah, but see, this is another thing. Just a big con, so that you got to pay, and then you get a loan, and you got to pay in on that loan, and it's just one big racket. It's like when you say like me personally, I send money through like the post, and I think, well, that's the best way to do it because you give these people like how much is it that PayPal whatever it is, it's 60/40 in it. So
Yeah, I think PayPal's a little more lenient, but if you're talking about YouTube itself, Alan, like if you were to send a super chat, it's 30%, which is ridiculous. They get
yeah,
30% of your money, man. The YouTube
it's
tab.
ridiculous. It is absolutely scandalous for doing absolutely nothing,
Yeah,
and it's just doing nothing, and it's just that these people. The thing about it is that we've got the same problem here. I mean, you've got rich people living here that no matter how much money they've got, they're never fucking happy, and
yeah.
then you've got the people that are all around the world that like that, and they're sort of. You see, the thing about Trump and Elon Musk that I'm taking from it is that it's because Musk has got so much money and Trump's a president. It's like, well, we do what we fucking want now, and it's exactly what he's doing because he knows he's got. I don't know, is it 4 years? So he's starting it now. He's doing this sort of like we're going to get illegal immigrants out. He's going to fuck the country up because the people that are working there doing all the hard jobs, all getting paid bloody less than what the minimum. They don't have minimum wage over there. They pay you fucking peanuts if they want, but it's just outrageous the way they're treating
Yeah, yeah.
people who are actually. I just finished the actual the fact that they're punishing the people that actually work there. You got
Alan,
Amazon, you
yeah,
got Apple, you got all
right.
these big companies, and they're going, "Oh, you got to pay more tax."
Let
These
me get these.
wankers,
Yeah,
they-
let me get
yeah,
these.
but these wankers, they don't pay any tax. They put
Yeah,
their money in the Cayman Islands while
bunch of
you
wankers, Alan.
and
You're a bunch of
yeah,
wankers.
but while you and the rest of the people that work in America or unable to work or whatever have
Yeah,
to put back in front of all these wankers that are just running around thinking
total
they're Joe
wankers, Alan. I just wanted to hear you say wankers again. Let me get to these
Rogan.
comments from
Sorry,
Blue Unicorn.
my
Uh,
rant. I'm
yep,
expecting a lot from the FBI every fucking second now.
I know. Blue Unicorn says first they came for the immigrants, and I didn't speak out because I'm not an immigrant. Then they came for the pro-Palestinian protesters, and I didn't speak out because I'm not a protester, et cetera, et cetera. I keep trying to explain that quote. Rounding people up for deportation has a history, and it's not a good one. Blue Unicorn couldn't be more correct, man. I mean, there you go. Alfredo says migrant workers typically send between 200 to 300 home every month or 2 months. However, this is only about 15% of their earnings. The remaining 85% stays in the country where they earn it. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, like if I'm in another country and I can earn like some money in a different country, which is double the money, I'll be over straight away. I mean, every human being does that all over the world. People come to this country and they want to work really. But
how do you think I can make money? If I could make money over there, Alan, I would totally go to England, man. It seems like a great country to settle in.
It's false, but the good thing about it is that at the moment, with the only thing that's like in public ownership is the NHS. I mean, the rest of it's all been sold off, really.
Yeah.
But that's what he's after, you know. But it's one of them things like, you know, the pharmaceutical companies and all the rest of it. They're all sort of. You look at the stock market and they're going, "Oh, we ain't got any money." What's a load of old?
Right. They're bound by that stupid stock market, Alan. All right. Final thoughts, Alan, before we get the fuck out of here. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Alan, but I gotta run, man. You have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Was it okay? I didn't fuck it up, did I?
No, of course not, Alan. We always love having you on, man. I mean, it's all good in the hood, man. People love hearing your Aussie-esque British accent, man. You know.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I'll go and get the amp out in a minute.
I mean, anybody sounds like Aussie to us in this country, man. Alan, you got to understand, you know.
To be honest with you, when I speak to Americans, they all seem you've got the same sort of level. Unless you're built.
Well, unless you're from the southern states, and then you got that southern drawl. You know what I'm talking about, Alan? Where
and say
things are a little bit, you know.
Is Bernie with you?
She just walked in. She just walked in the studio, Alan. You want to say hi to Bernie?
Hi, Bernie.
He says hi.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Bernie. Love you.
I know. You sound like Ozzy, Bernie, since you're a big Ozzy fan.
Yes.
He does sound like a little bit like Ozzy, huh? All right. Is Ozzy anywhere near where you were from, Alan, before we go?
No. He came from Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yes, Birmingham. Yeah, Black Sabbath. They were formed in Birmingham.
Yes. Hey, are you going to get to their final concert, Alan? They said they're doing one more concert in Birmingham.
I doubt it. I'm too old for that. I've gone past going to concerts, to be honest with you, love.
Yeah. Oh, check this out, Alfredo come in with some facts here. Says India immigrants are actually top country that sends money from the United States. I wouldn't doubt that. Blue Unicorn says, "Oh, I've heard big pharma stocks are falling. So good." Yeah, I would agree. Did not know that Alan was British. Narrator says, "Really? How could you not know?" Ozzy's in a wheelchair now. By I'm sure not quite, but close. He's doing one more concert with Black Sabbath. It's going to be his final ever concert in Birmingham. I wish I could.
That's going to be wow.
I would love to see it, but whatever. All right, Alan, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all the chatters. Join the discussion if you're listening on the archives. Make sure you put in your 2 cents in the comments and subscribe, tell your friends, all that good fun stuff. You know, I'm not a normal YouTuber. Thank you, Alan, and thanks to Sasquatch for joining the conversation earlier. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this for a long time because there's a lot of topics that we discussed. But I got to get out of here because it's actually Bernie and I's anniversary today. Happy anniversary!
Oh,
happy anniversary, my love.
Okay, time to turn YouTube off.
Yes, it's time. It's that time. All right. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Everybody in chat, have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next video.